Good early morning from San Francisco, California. Grown Black Folks Talk, early morning edition. Do you care enough about yourself to allow people to earn a second chance with you? I'm up really early. Literally, the sun just got up. Not because I intended to be. As I mentioned, I uh, in a previous recording that got messed up in the middle of this, that I had a very specific nightmare which woke me up. And as I turned over, much earlier than I normally would get up, that was the thought on my mind. Do you care enough about yourself to allow people to earn a second chance with you? The corollary of that is in the description. If you do not, you will allow people back into your life who have no intent but to re-enslave you. I could go about my business and I would have blessed you just by saying that. If you do not insist that people earn the right back into your presence and back into your care, people will keep up what they're doing and seek to enslave you to whatever evil they're into. As a Black woman, historically, having gone to the Black church that came out of slavery, there's some very bad habits, and the way that things are taught encourage these bad habits, especially for women, because we bulk out the churches, and we have for a very long time. Forgiveness is taught in such a way that it puts all the burden on the victim. People will tell you that Jesus told Peter to forgive 70 times 7, and he did. People will tell you forgiveness is for you, and it is, because it is commanded if you're a Christian, but they never give you all the information. Jesus also said in Luke 17 that if your brother sins against you and he repent, forgive him. Jesus also said that if a Christian brother, his brother was using the example, it would be used for a sister as well, is in sin and insist on being in sin, that they are to be put out of the church. This is said in the Gospel of Matthew. And then Paul comes along and actually gives us a case in 1 Corinthians where a gentleman is caught in flagrant unrepentant sin. And Paul told the whole Corinthian church, every Christian in the city, put this man out of fellowship so that Satan can tear him up so that he can be saved. And by 2 Corinthians, the church did this. This man repented, was broken, and Paul said, he's repented, take him back. Take him back. These parts are not taught. People will tell children that have been mistreated by their own parents, you got to honor your father and your mother. They forget to read that part about fathers. Provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. And then put these demands on children who are not safe mentally, psychologically, emotionally, and sometimes even physically. These things have been taught wrong. And then you step out into the world. Right now, 4 Black women per day are being dismissed from the earth in the Black community. And most often, this is in the hands of Black men. This is the kind of thing we don't want to talk about, but it's necessary for us as maturing Black women to talk about it. Now, I'm not old yet. I have not attained. I'm 41, but I'm old enough to be on the phone with sisters in their 20s who are coming to me trying to figure out, having been raised in roughly the same kind of atmosphere that I was. There are a few churchgoers left because you got to remember grandmamas are taking grandbabies to church. What should we do with situation X? And so here's the thing. People will tell you anything, men in particular, get desperate enough, will tell you anything to get back into a position of being cared for by you when the chips are down. But the question you have to ask is, if I put you out of my life, are you changing the things and are you repenting of are you confessing that what you did with me was wrong, and are you committing to doing whatever you need to do to not do it again? This is the question that people do not want you to ask. This is how a person can go from just knowing you to picking on you a little bit to dismissing you from the earth. See, that's a process. That's a process of I'm going to see what I can get away with until I can get away with all of it. I can take everything from you, including your life, because you don't have enough strength and self-respect to stop me. Now, in fairness, there are men who also go through a similar process. Gentlemen, I'm not indifferent to your plight. There are men who have been taken advantage of by women. There are men whose insecurity are played on. And it's especially bad because we live in a time in history where Black men are being told that certain women, Black women, are just no good and they should run after everything else. And they should run after everything else of a certain age and a certain weight and a certain size and a certain profile. The problem is, all those women know that these Black men still haven't dealt with their insecurities about who they are as Black people and about they're still upset with their mom for their dad not being around. They know this is going on. And because they fit the desired profile, they're coming to hunt. And they too will take a man for all he's worth. And you don't have to go outside the community. There are Black women in the community that are no good too. There are some playettes out there as well who will do this to a man. Because a playette figures it this way: I can use average men to level my life up so I can get the one I really want. And this is something that Black men complain about. So, gentlemen, I hear you. However, for Black women are not dismissing for Black men from the planet every day. So we have to put emphasis on where the greatest trouble is. Black women are being dismissed from the planet by Black men, generally accounting for that 4 per day. The reverse is not true. So we must put the focus, I must minister primarily to the younger sisters. The other thing that's happening is Black men are receiving the message that they should deal with women between 18 and 25. Well, between 18 and 25, they don't know yet that they do not need to let someone who is going to take and take and take from them back. Some of them have never had a father to protect them. Some of them have never had a grandfather or even an uncle. I know young women who are grown today that they had to, if I had to find a man to stick up for them, because they used to come to the middle school where I used to teach, great grand uncle. That's it. They've never known what it is to be protected, and they are desperate for protection. You know, why are you always choosing the thugs? People are desperate for a man who looks strong enough to be able to protect them. And for some girls who are 18 to 25, this is the first time in life they're able to look for this for themselves, and they can be taken advantage of. And that is why it is necessary for me to focus on the sisters. Ladies, get strong enough to put people, and it doesn't matter who they are, but with men, you're dealing with someone who will push you far enough to dismiss you from the earth. And that's not even a reference to color. This is true of men across the board. For my swirlers and divestors, this is true in other communities as well. Understand that the reputation of Black women was that of slaves for a very long time. And that has been clung to in many ways. So wherever you go, you must see that if a man is dedicated to mistreating you and has no remorse, the minute you realize that, he's got to go and he cannot return. And for that matter, you also have women friends who encourage this foolishness and will encourage you to go back. They got to go. If you are listening to women who are encouraging you to forgive an unrepentant man or an unrepentant woman, anybody around you who's dedicated to doing evil and wants you to come back and work for them doing it, you have to let all of them go. I was sharing with a young lady that I mentor of having exited myself from a whole circle of people, 60 people that I loved in a whole circle of church people. I left them, the circle collapsed. They collapsed before COVID, and COVID put the whole thing in its grave. That's what happens anyway. I wasn't there when it went down. I'm still doing what I do. I'm alive and free and not connected to the foolishness. This is what you want. And gentlemen, this is what you want. Do not let your lust get you entangled. Some of y'all need to choose better too. Because again, a woman who does not respect you will give signs. Now, I'm not going to speak on that because there are male content creators who will cover this for you. Tony Gaskins, R.C. Blakes, Coach Rod, and others. I can't remember any others off the top of my head, but that's what comes to mind. Men need to speak to men about these issues. But just know I acknowledge that this happens to y'all too. Do not, if you have to put someone out of your life because they are mistreating you in any way, if you catch them in mistreating other people, we'll extend this a little more. Please do not say, well, they're not treating me that way, although they will, because they see that you'll let them do that, and they will turn around and they will come and try this on you. Please believe me that this is what's going to happen. A whole nother video to be done about why you cannot play with evil and justify evil in any level of your life. Because when people see you doing that, they see you as either a partner in crime or a victim. That's a different video. Thank you for listening. Please take this to heart. I was gotten out of bed to let you know this. So now that I'm up, I'm gonna get my work done and try to get my walk done early and enjoy my day, but I had to put this out first. All right, you enjoy your day now. Thank you for watching. Hello to my new subscribers, and thank you for staying with me to my older subscribers. We've passed the 300 mark. Thank you very much to all of you. Goodbye.